Hey guys, it's Ghosdee. Welcome back to my channel. And today I'm going to be talking about some of my favorite horror video games. I want to first start off by saying that video games have been a part of my life since I was a kid. At some point in time I realized that my love for horror kind of bled into my video game appreciation. So I'm very excited to be talking about some of these games today and hopefully you guys can relate. They're in no particular order. I cannot rank them. Bioshock 2. I played Bioshock 2 on accident. I had no idea what the game was actually about. All I knew was that Big Daddies were a thing and that Rapture was this like dystopian underwater type thing. I was definitely thrown into a whirlwind when I started playing it. Just random jump scares and good like video game content. I love the gameplay. I love video games, but I'm terrible at them. So I need games that have an easy gameplay, something I can get through. The Rapture is such an immersive, beautiful, although fucked up world. I love this world. I love everything about this world. I love that it's underwater. I love that it's combining like this postmodern era plus like 50s era. It's just a fun world. It's a really, really fun world to be in and play a game in. I think my all-time favorite thing about this whole game is the relationship between Delta and Eleanor. Prior to this game, I felt for characters, I had favorite video game characters, but I like had sorrow and emotion. I felt really, really attached and in love with this relationship between the two of them. And I hadn't really experienced that in a video game before. So like, yes, it's a very creepy game and I love the creepy elements, but also the main reason why I like it is because it's sad and it's beautiful and there's a lot of pain in this game. Dead Space. It took me a long time to beat Dead Space. I don't love an enemy in any other game the way I love the necromorphs in this game. They're gross and absolutely terrifying. And anytime they're on screen, like my skin starts to fucking crawl. It was so weird. I'd never felt that way about an enemy in a game before. I've jumped, I've screamed, I'm like angry, like fuck you. But I literally was just like, my skin crawled every single time they got on the screen. I personally love Isaac. Isaac is great and he's just like taking this shit on. Five Nights at Freddy's. I absolutely hate that the fan base for Five Nights at Freddy's is typically like 5-year-olds. And then there's just me, my 23-year-old self, that's like obsessed with this series. It started with Markiplier. I was just watching him play it and I was like, I love Markiplier. And then I was like, I love Five Nights at Freddy's. I didn't think that they could keep adding to the storyline. The story is so dark and it's gruesome. The jump scares are cool, but like what gets me literally is the story. Just hearing about what's happening and the kids, every little thing that's been added to the story since it started back in whenever time, that's what creeps me out. It helps that I also watch the FNAF theories by the game theorists on YouTube. Creeps me out way more. That just makes me love the story way more and I love the game way more. Alan Wake. I just remember closing my eyes. There's a picture of me like, I can't do this because of how creepy it is. That aside, what I really like about this is that it feels like the type of horror movie that's like that mysterious plagued town. I love any story, any book, movie, TV show. If the main character is a horror novelist, I'm like, let me watch it because immediately makes me think about Stephen King. This game pulls from Stephen King a lot. It really felt like a movie. At that point, I had realized that I play video games for stories. I like narratives. I was so into just unfolding this mystery. I like the idea of using the flashlight as a weapon. That whole dark figure is the enemy, like the darkness. It felt so like a horror TV series. It should be like a cult game that everybody talks about and loves, but nobody talks about it. But I think Alan Wake is great. You should definitely check it out. Mortal Kombat. Some may not consider this a horror game because you're just fighting, but because there's like really, really great gore and scorpions scared the shit out of me when I was a kid, this is on my list. Mortal Kombat is actually one of my all-time favorite games. It goes back to like the characters and it goes back to like how gross and bloody and raw the first ones were. The way they designed the characters, they look realistic, and then there's the blood. It's just scary. Scorpions Get Over Here will never not be terrifying to me. It instilled so much fear in me when I was a kid. I just remember like hearing it replay in my head anytime I'm walking around in the dark. As I got older, obviously, like, not as scary, just more into it, like, yes, blood, guts, gore. In the more recent games, I started adding horror characters to the roster, which is fucking cool. Like, yes, I want to play as Freddy and Leatherface and Alien. I guess it's not like inherently scary, but it has creepy elements. Outlast. Outlast took me by surprise. That video game gave me nightmares. Anything with like a mental hospital is just kind of scary to me, which is like kind of sad. I don't like that. I'm scared by those things. That was a ride. It took me, I beat that game in a shorter time than I beat most games because I was like really into like just figuring out everything that was going on in there. What makes this game more real for me is your limited resources. Like, you have this camera to see in the dark. Sometimes the battery goes out, so like sometimes you're just fucking screwed. It's a stealth game. Like, you don't really have weapons. You just be running and hiding. I get too anxious to do it efficiently. That's another one of those I had to fucking close my eyes and scream so many times because I was scared. Until Dawn. This game was such a pleasant surprise. I love choice games. Until Dawn is not only a choice game, but it's also a fucking horror movie. It has the cliches. It literally has like the slut character, the reserved character, the dumb character. It even gives you in the beginning, in a lot of horror movies, there's that beginning scene. It's a scene from a past that sets up what's happening in the future, especially when it's like a group of teens that go to a cabin in the woods. And it even had that. One of my favorite lines, like, let's party like porn stars. I love the interludes where you are the killer and you're speaking with a therapist and you're taking these series of tests. I also love that you think that it's just a serial killer, but also there's wendigos. It combined the serial killer mystery horror film with the creature horror film Resident Evil. I'm a big fan of everything Resident Evil. I love the movies, I love the games. A lot of the reason why I enjoy the series is because of nostalgia. I know the story for the whole fucking series. Even the fucking spin-off, Outbreak, File 1, 2, Umbrella Chronicles, bitch, I got you. 5 and 6 aren't as great, which were really bad follow-ups to 4. If it wasn't for the second one, 4 would be my favorite. Resident Evil 7 is like the greatest like comeback of anything. I finished that game pretty fucking fast. I love these elaborate houses, these settings, these mansions that have endless rooms with endless traps. Nostalgia bump all the way with this series for sure. It's probably not the greatest series in the entire world. It's definitely near and dear to my heart. Thanks guys so much for watching this video. If you liked it, you can give it a thumbs up. And if you want, you can leave a comment of some of your favorite horror movies down below. If you like the videos that I post, hit subscribe and also hit the bell if you want to be notified whenever I post. Thanks so much, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.